This region of the brain is called the limbic system, which is the neural system that is located below the cerebral hemispheres in which all of the following pieces make up. It is associated with emotions, drives, and learning throughout one's brain. One part of the limbic system is the corpus callosum, which is the large band of neural fibers connecting the two brain hemispheres and carrying messages between them. In addition, it makes up matter tissue found within the brain. The corpus callosum is located near the center of the brain and surrounds the amygdala, thalamus, hippocampus, hypothalamus, and pituitary gland. If damaged, there could potentially be a loss of contact between the two connected hemispheres, which could cause mental disorders, the inability to control one's face, and speech and movement disorders. In addition, a split brain, which is a condition resulting from surgery that isolates the brain's two hemispheres by cutting the fibers connecting them, could occur, leading the right and left brain to be separated. As a result, each hemisphere will have its own separate perception, concepts, and impulses to act, and will therefore not work together. Say that you are running a race. While running, the left half of the brain controls the right leg, and the right half of the brain controls the left leg, allowing you to run the race with all of your bodily abilities in check. Another area is called the thalamus, which is the brain's sensory control center that directs messages to the sensory receiving areas in the cortex and transmits replies to the cerebellum and medulla. The thalamus is located above the brainstem between the cerebral cortex and midbrain. If this area is damaged, it could lead a person into a coma. In addition, sensory changes, movement disorders, and overall motor impairments could result. Additionally, a person would not be able to regulate states of sleep and wakefulness. For example, during a race, the ability to run is reliant upon motor control, which the thalamus is involved in. The hypothalamus is a small neural structure of the limbic system that is below the thalamus and near the pituitary gland. It directs several maintenance activities, including eating and drinking, helps control the endocrine system through the pituitary gland, and is linked to emotion and reward. If the hypothalamus were to be damaged, it could cause disruptions in body temperature regulation, growth, weight, emotions, eating, and sleep cycles. In addition, the person's overall energy balance and metabolism of the brain would also be affected. While running the race, body temperatures are regulated by drinking through the hypothalamus. In addition, if you were to win the race, your emotions linked to the hypothalamus would be heightened when receiving a medal for your accomplishment, showing reward systems. Next is the amygdala, which are two lima bean-sized neural clusters in the limbic system that are connected to emotion and the overall perception of controlling aggression and emotions. This area is located near the hippocampus in the frontal area of the temporal lobe. If damaged, people would be more likely to take bigger risks, which is dangerous as there is a smaller potential gain. In addition, loss aversion occurs in which people choose to avoid losses rather than acquiring gains. During the race, you may be angry that someone passes you. However, the amygdala helps to control these emotions and keep them in check for you to perform to your best ability. Another part of the limbic system is the pituitary gland, which is an influential part of the endocrine system that secretes hormones into the bloodstream. These hormones can affect other organs and glands, especially the thyroid. Under the influence of the hypothalamus, this area regulates growth and controls other endocrine glands. The pituitary gland is between the hypothalamus and pineal gland and is connected to the brain through a thin stem of blood vessels. If this area gets damaged, hormone production could potentially be stopped. In addition, optic nerves could be compressed, leading to visual disturbances. Also, certain diseases or events that cause damage to the pituitary gland may also trigger pituitary failure, which is the loss or underfunctioning of the pituitary gland in which one or more pituitary hormones are deficient. For example, while running, you produce endorphins, which are hormones, within the brain and nervous system because of the pituitary gland, which allow the body to fight the pain of running and continue on their running, without functions wanting the body to stop running. Overall, the pituitary gland reflects your reaction to pain while you are running during the race.
The pons is a part of the brainstem that links the medulla and the thalamus. This serves as a communication and coordination center between the two hemispheres of the brain. If the pons were to be damaged, it can result in serious problems, as this brain area is important for connecting areas of the brain that control automatic functions and movement. This may result in sleep disturbances, sensory problems, arousal dysfunction, and a coma due to lack of overall coordination within the brain. During your race, the two sides of the brain will be communicating due to the pons while you run and keep your balance steady. Next is the hippocampus, which is the brain structure embedded deep in the temporal lobe of each cerebral cortex. This is a very important part of the limbic system, as it's the region that regulates movement, emotion, learning, and memory. If the hippocampus were to be damaged, a person could experience a loss of memory and a loss of the ability to make new long-term memories. The time-dependent memory consolidation process within the brain would be impacted, which is when recently learned skills are transformed into long-term memories through chemical and structural changes in the nervous system. During your race, due to the hippocampus, the brain will remember not to stop before the correct amount of laps around the track, and it will motivate the runner to keep running although they are tired, leading to the end benefits of getting relaxed, food, water, and other rewards. Then is the medulla, which is the base of the brainstem. This controls involuntary actions in the body such as one's heartbeat and breathing. This cone-shaped neural area is located in the brainstem in the front of the cerebellum. The medulla connects our brain and our spinal cord with most of our sensory and motor fibers either crossing into the brain or finishing at this level. So if it were to be damaged, it would lead to difficulty swallowing and a loss of gag and cough reflexes. While running the race, the medulla would keep the heartbeat and breathing intact to allow for a precise and balanced run. After the medulla, we have the cerebellum, which is the little brain at the rear of the brainstem. And the functions include processing sensory input, coordinating movement, output, and balance, and enabling nonverbal learning and memory. If this were to be damaged, there would be a loss of coordination of motor movement, the inability to judge distance and when to stop, which is called dysmetria, and the ability to perform rapid alternating movements. In addition, there will be movement tremors and staggering wide-base walking. When you're running on a trail and get lost, but then remember a checkpoint you passed and find your way back, this is the cerebellum at work. Then we have the brainstem, which controls the flow of messages between the brain and the rest of the body. This controls basic body functions as well, such as breathing, swallowing, heart rate, blood pressure, consciousness, and whether one is awake or sleepy as well. This also consists of the midbrain, pons, and medulla. If the brainstem were to be damaged, heartbeat and breathing could cease, which could cause death. There could also be speech impairment, breathing difficulties, including sleep apnea, and difficulty swallowing. Strokes could also occur, and this could be disastrous to the unconscious processes that keep us alive. The brainstem assures that while you're running the race, your breathing maintains a healthy rate, your heart rate beats at an average speed, you remain awake, and that your blood pressure is healthy enough for you to run the race altogether. The reticular formation is a nerve network that travels through the brainstem and thalamus and plays an important role in controlling arousal. This is located in the brainstem near the center called the tegmentum. Moderate damage to the reticular formation would include fatigue, changes in sexual arousal, and disrupted sleep patterns. Severe damage to the reticular formation could cause you to fall into a coma by inhibiting your body's ability to wake up, and even more severe damage is fatal. The reticular formation ensures that you're awake during your race and to alert to other runners that may pass by or to objects that you could potentially trip over.